Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Halo, because I've decided to do a few different things with this channel and I just want to experiment around with shit. So we're going for a 20-minute video that I scripted. Yeah, this is completely scripted. And yeah, that's all I've come to say. Enjoy the rest of the video. If you like this content, think about subscribing or liking. If you don't, doesn't really matter. This is all new enough to me, so fuck yeah. On to the video. Halo. Quick rundown of the Halo series, because I realized I never really explained the story in this video, and you kind of need a bit of context for the video like this. Well, yeah, you should have played Halo, like, yeah, I don't know, whatever. Okay, here is the context. Evil aliens try to kill humans. Humans, super soldier, John 117, find galaxy destroying ring, blows it up. Much to dismay of aliens, known as Covenant. Sad Covenant. Very sad. The rest I'll leave as spoilers, I guess. I'm not really interested in giving a full summary on all the history in the Halo franchise, I guess. I have had a relatively weird relation with Halo, especially in the order of which I've been playing, while I was growing up. My first Halo game was Halo 4. Gotta be honest, not a bad starting point considering how it was a clean slate for Halo, as it was the beginning of a new saga for Halo as a franchise. I originally got this game for what I believe was my 14th or 15th birthday from brother or sister. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we played the hell out of that game. The campaign anyway, which, while the fourth game in the series gave just about enough information in the opening cinematic to give a sense of the story, allowed me and my brother to just ignore previous game events, just because we honestly didn't care. It was just me and my brother spending hours playing, replaying, and replaying again. Out of all the Halo games, it may have been the longest we both played a Halo game together. We played a small bit of multiplayer, but only local play due to, let's just say, the rural internet, which, if any of you are familiar with, is not that good. Especially considering we are only maybe 15 kilometers away from a town that does have good internet, which is quite annoying. Anyway, we didn't do any online playthroughs or anything, so we didn't really have much issues with anything else. Okay, on to game number 2. I'm quite fuzzy on the details, but it was either between Halo 5 or Halo Reach. I'm unsure if Reach came second or second last, so I'm just gonna assume Halo 5 because it's the one I remember best. Okay, let me set the scene. I was at a sex shop, not that type. The gaming reseller in both Ireland and England. I went in with a large amount of DS, 3DS games, and a 3DS to trade in for store credit, because I was about to buy an Xbox One. As I traded them in, I had to make a choice: Halo the Master Chief Collection or Halo 5. I eventually chose Halo 5 because it was cheaper and the newer title out of the both. As I was trading in my items for store credit, the cashier told me he couldn't trade in my 3DS, mainly because the serial code on the back had been eroded off, meaning I didn't have enough credit for the Xbox. I'm still kind of glad I didn't really make the trade. After 15 minutes of begging, I managed to get the remaining money as a loan from my parents, and happily received the Xbox and game. Got home, set up my Xbox, and put the disc into the Xbox. And then there arose a new issue that I hadn't really decided to look up when researching the Xbox. As all of you may know, the Xbox One requires a disc to be installed into the Xbox system itself. I believe this was to stop piracy, but me coming off the back of the Xbox 360 presumed the Xbox would just take the disc, and me and my brother would be playing Halo 5 in no time. Wrong. A notification popped up in the corner stating Halo 5 installation has begun. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, as most people would know to install the game offline or have a good enough internet to download it quickly. However, I did not know this and began downloading it on my super slow rural Irish Wi-Fi. You know how I said the internet speeds are the internet speed, let me just put this in it for reference. My internet speed was 2 megabytes per second. Yeah, we had an even worse provider before that, meaning it was a lot worse. And that was just download speed, we're not even talking about upload speed here. And to dig myself even deeper into the hole that I had created, I had enabled Halo 5 to update while also installing.
Stop! He's already dead.
This was after Halo 5 was out for a long time, so it had received a lot of updates, which added an additional 50 gigabytes onto the base game of 50 gigabytes, which resulted in 100 gigabytes, which were downloading on my shitty internet. Let's give a mathematic equation for a better perception of the scenario. 50 plus 50, 100 gigabytes by 1000 megabytes equals 100,000 megabytes. If we're downloading at a rate of 2 megabytes per second, for an example, the real number is a lot smaller. 100,000 divided by 2 equals 50,000 seconds, divided by 60 again equals 833.3 minutes, divided by 60 equals 13 hours. Now, if this was the actual time it took, I would have been fine with it, but it took me about a week to get halfway through it.
I need a weapon.
And that is not an understatement. The worst part was, at the end of the month, we received an internet bill. Normally the bill would come out around €60, standard, that was what we paid for. But because of this fucking game, we received a bill of not $70, not $80, but $120. Wait, no, fuck, it's in euro, damn it. Okay, to say we were frustrated was an understatement. Anyway, after long consideration, I decided to hit the uninstall button. However, after about a week, I decided to look up the problem online, and my god, did we find the answer. Like a messenger from God, user came down and graced me with the information I required. You could download this offline. So I tried it, and it worked. And by the way, I had to pay the bill for the internet, so that's me €60 down because I made a fucking stupid mistake. It worked though, so I was willing to cast that aside as long as I got to play it. At long last, me and my brother sat down in front of the TV and booted up Halo 5. We saw the logos appear onto the screen and then the main menu. We stopped and took in the moment. It had taken us many weeks to get to the position we were in, and we were going to enjoy the hell out of it and finally press the campaign button. And then we succumbed to one of the most disappointing features of Halo 5. Fucking no split screen. Due to my incompetence, I had failed to look up a lot of information about the game because I was afraid of spoilers and had taken the information off the back of the cover of Halo 5. When I first saw it, it states co-op, 2 to 4 players, and me being the idiot I am, I somehow got it into my mind that co-op and split screen were the same thing. Anyway, me and my brother decided to take turns in the game. My expectations for the game had dropped a lot, so when I actually started playing it, I quite enjoyed myself. I wasn't as aware of the first 3 games' art style, so I wasn't really bothered by the designs or weapons, although I did feel that some of the weapons were quite underpowered. For instance, Halo Assault Rifle, which is possibly one of the most underrated and underpowered guns throughout Halo. Sure, in Halo 1 and Reach it's okay, but in most other Halo titles, this is often used as a last resort when ammo in all other guns are depleted. Even in the first game, the sidearm Magnum is apparently 10 times stronger than the main weapon you were given to start with. Wait, you actually got the pistol first. Oh, well, whatever. Another major issue I had with Halo 5 was the story length and who you played as. On the main page for Halo 5, it states that Halo 5 contains 15 campaign missions. So that got me pretty hyped for the game because I presume the mission length would be around the length of Halo 4, which contained 8 missions, all of which had 3 separate parts throughout the mission and had decent runtimes. However, it was made clear to me after playing the first few levels that they would maybe be around 1/3 the length of Halo 4 missions, which I was kind of okay, provided the number of missions. However, the one thing annoyed me and kind of ruined my experience was the fact 3 of these missions, not 1, not 2, but fucking 3, were in waiting rooms. where you had to get basic information, dialogue, and search for computers, only usually taking 5 minutes each. This was considered a full fucking level for all 3 of them, which I got really depressed by. Okay, the other thing is Halo. Who is the main protagonist of Halo? Master Chief. How many missions are in this game? 15. Technically 12. How many times do you get to play as the Master Chief throughout this game? 3 fucking times. I'm not You got passed on to a, let's just say, I'm guessing they were originally trying to replace Master Chief with this character, but it was terrible. They chose a character that I found to be so annoyed by that I just didn't want to play with that character anymore, and he was the fucking one you play on the last level as well. So there's only 3 levels where you get to fucking play as Master Chief. Pretty much some of them are better than whatever you're playing as. Sergeant Locke, which is the guy that you're put into. I must say though, his voice is fucking amazing. Like, they got the voice and fucking amazing. Also art style. Also, I never really liked the suit. It was kind of shit. But it was just fucking annoying. Okay, some good things to add. Weapon variants were a good addition to the game, and the new Gun Goose vehicle was pretty dope. That's pretty much it though. I wasn't really connected to the internet, so I never really went through the multiplayer, which is supposed to be pretty good considering all the efforts that 343 has actually put into that. Okay, eventually months at least after the last update to Halo 5, I decided to update the game so I could use a 3-month Xbox Live voucher I got to play online. So after about 5 days of downloading, it finished. Everything sounded good, and then the game crashed.
Here you go.
My fucking god. And then I uninstalled it. And then I cried. Okay. Halo 5 rant is completely fucking finished. Fuck. Halo the Master Chief Collection. Okay, about a month after obtaining the head-cracking, skull-breaking, mind-boggling mess that was Halo 5, I managed to scrape back enough money to buy the Master Chief Collection. I got home, took it out of the cover, and it was scratched. Fuck. 2 weeks later, and 1 new Master Chief Collection later, and me and my brother started the game, and boy, we took a weird route when playing. We started with Halo 3, then 2, then 1. I just did 1 on my own. But these games were some of the most fun I had experienced in gaming in ages. I know, the game had certain bugs and issues, but luckily, they were mostly for the online aspects of the game, so if you listened to me earlier, you would realize my internet is extremely bad. So yeah, I guess it was a blessing in disguise. The amount of time I spent on MCC was immense, mainly because of the selection of games, weapons, characters, and because no man can resist. I definitely enjoyed Halo 2 and Halo 3 most of all. Out of the 2, 3 was the best for gameplay and large scope of some of the missions, and Halo 2 Anniversary for the story and fucking breathtaking cutscenes. I mean, look at these! They are the most visually pleasing cutscenes I have seen in any game, especially on the missions Cairo Station and Outskirts. Both the opening and ending for Cairo Station looked so fucking good. Especially the ending scene where John throws himself out of an airlock with a fucking bomb into a fucking Covenant carrier and just blows that shit up. Outskirts opening gave a sense of dread and optimism with its opening as you were ambushed by a massive enemy crab.
So here's this giant enemy crab.
Wait, did I say crab? I meant scarab, which easily takes down your group in several Pelican gunships, leaving you stranded in New Mombasa's streets. I fucking love these campaigns. I was so fucking glad I got caught up in them, okay? Halo 1 Combat Evolved Anniversary was, I noticed, quite longer than both the other Halo games and kind of fell in between both in terms of story and gameplay, as it was more open than Halo 2 and shared story similarities with Halo 3. The only thing I can really complain about were the graphics, especially on the Anniversary Edition. I felt it wasn't really up to the quality it should have been. That's just my opinion. I realized it came out in 2011. I'm not really sure if it's a contributing factor, however, I do realize Halo Reach was released 1 year prior. So I think I'll hold on to my opinion. Speaking of Reach, that's my next game. I know I got it at least a few months after Halo MCC. At least I think, again, I'm still unsure whether it was my second game or not. So I'm just gonna stick with this timeline. It kind of reminds me of how convoluted the FNAF timeline is. Anyway, back to Reach. I got Reach for an extremely cheap price. I think maybe €3? I don't know. At a second-hand GameStop. I should really get these and support the creator. Oh well, I'll do it next game, whatever. At a second-hand shop, but man, I should have paid a lot more for it. I was not prepared for the feels I received from this game. From the moment I began the campaign, I was hit with the music. My god, the music. And I was like, OMG, this is pretty fucking good music. Okay, I need to stop for a minute and say just how fucking good the music is. Originally, starting off on Halo 4, the music was alright, but once I got to the Master Chief Collection, with the original collection, I was like, for every Halo game, minus 4 and 5 had some of the best music in gaming. Even Halo Wars 1 and 2 have amazing music, and they are RTS based games. Okay, rant over, back to Reach. Okay, basic premise of the game is play in a team of Spartans on a human colony of a planet called Reach, before the beginning of Halo 1. Okay, spoilers now. You watch as these Spartans are slowly picked off as their world falls around them. The story is extremely well written, and as usual, gameplay and music are extremely well done of all Halo games. But the feature that set this game apart from all the rest is Firefight. Now, this has been put in Halo 5 and Halo ODST, but Halo 5 was online and I didn't really own ODST at that time. It was really quite appealing as a non-online player. Yeah, get dunked on all you feckin' online bastards. Anyways, wait, how many times have I said anyways? Anyways, on to the last and possibly most hyped up game that I got to experience before Halo Infinite. Halo Wars 2 plus 1. I'm gonna keep these two games as a single bundle because I got them in a bundle. That is the Halo Wars Ultimate Edition, coming with both Halo Wars 2 and the definitive edition of Halo Wars. Now, Halo Wars 2 was a game I was hyping up for a while, mainly because it was the first Halo game trailer that I seen at E3. So there was me, waiting for several months to get a new Halo game, and when it finally arrived, I waited a few more months. While you ask, well, I was concerned about reviews after the events of what I went through with Halo 5. Yeah, that game. I wanted to be sure I actually got a game with everything I wanted. And also now I was looking at it with the scrutiny of someone who had played pretty much all of the Halo games prior. So I did my research, read reviews, until I finally was satisfied. I shopped around and found a copy for €40. It was the Ultimate Edition, coming with a season pass and original Halo Wars Definitive Edition, but it was second hand, so the code for it shouldn't have worked. Now, some Halo fans might be wondering how I obtained the original Definitive Edition. Well, call it luck, call it whatever you like, but for some fucking unknown reason, the code on the inside of the cover had never been used. Meaning, I got an extra Halo game and the season pass for no extra charge. It's like still €20, it's overpriced. But there was a catch. Well, it's not really that overpriced, which I will tell you later. Anyways, fuck, I keep saying that. I installed it correctly, turned it on, and then I heard it. The menu music. Suddenly, I was filled with nostalgia. Butterflies started emerging from my body, and I became one with Mother Nature. So I played the game, and it fucking felt like Halo. The design, Halo. The enemies, environments, Halo. And everything was goddamn Halo. It was motherfucking Halo. And it was fucking great. One last thing on Halo Wars 2. The season pass, which includes DLC and custom leaders to play as. However, 343 threw a 360-degree turn on this when it came to their last DLC. It was a DLC that would reintroduce the Flood, which was the gaming franchise's biggest enemy, and it was a fan favorite for everyone. Hearing this, people got excited. Hell, even I did as well, until we realized we had to buy it separately and it didn't come with the season pass. Kind of a bitch move, which, not gonna lie, yeah, was a bitch move. However, I did not realize something. Despite the game's fleshed out story characters and overall good reviews, very few copies were sold, with only 200,000 copies selling on the first week. In comparison to Halo Wars 1, with 1 million copies were sold first week. This was due to two factors: loss of faith in the franchise, and the second but biggest reason, it was an RTS. And most people with gaming consoles don't really want to play RTS-based games. The genre had kind of passed and it wasn't really that interesting anymore. Most people, yeah, kind of making the DLC look a bit, yeah, okay. Honorable mention: Halo ODST. Not much to say about it, except it's really fucking good with the sax music. And the story was pretty refreshing. This was actually meant to be a feckin' DLC beforehand, but they just fleshed it out and decided to turn it into its own feckin' standalone game. Firefight is apparently great. Multiplayer is, I guess, good. Can't really say much more about that, so yeah, all around good game. Do like the fact that you play as ODSTs this time. Characters are actually, yeah, the characters are actually more fleshed out in this game than any other one. It gives more of a human feel. And final notes: I've decided to do a separate video on Halo Infinite just because I'm tired and also because it deserves its own video. I will be giving my thoughts and hopes for it. I will say this though: the pistol looks like shit.